What is something common with almost all the NEET toppers? No, it's not Marrow, it's not DAMS or Bhatia. It is this amazing tool called Anki. There are tons of videos on YouTube explaining Anki and thousands of decks floating around the internet. So you might be wondering, why this video? So honestly, this is the kind of video I wish someone had made way earlier. Because if I had discovered how simple and how effective Anki really is, I probably would have started using it much sooner and could have made even better use of my study time. See, the problem is a lot of people know about Anki. They would have heard about it. Some of you might even have the app installed on your phone, but very few actually use it. Why? For many, the interface might look a bit overwhelming, a bit too tech heavy, so they just stick to their textbooks and notes out of habit. So here's the thing, I am not a tech heavy guy or a computer geek of any sort. I'm just a normal guy who came across Anki, started exploring it, and ended up making it the best study companion of my MBBS. So this video is not going to drown you in unnecessary settings or any of those fancy features. This is simply the version of Anki I wish someone had shown me. And this is exactly what I would tell my junior if they came up to me and asked, Sir, how do I actually use Anki? So let's get started. So Anki is basically a digital flashcard app. But first of all, what is a flashcard? A flashcard is a way of studying where you have a question on one side of the card and answer on the back side. But the catch is, you don't just look at the answer right away after reading the question. You try to actively recall it, and that's what makes it very powerful. Now, Anki takes the simple idea and adds something game changing: spaced repetition. So, when you read something and never revise it again, your memory fades away very quickly. But when you revise it at intervals, your memory curve is gonna improve dramatically. So Anki's algorithm is designed in a way to show you a card exactly when you're about to forget it. That's how it strengthens your memory. And the best part, they are digital. So you don't have to carry bulky notes or physical flashcards everywhere you go. So whenever you feel like scrolling your phone, instead of opening YouTube or Instagram, just flip open your Anki deck and start solving. This is also the reason why I had Anki on my phone's home screen and had kicked out Instagram and YouTube into the app library. So, because of this, during my internship, most of my studying did not happen in the library. It actually happened in the wards during free time between duties or whenever I had a few spare minutes using Anki. Now let's talk about creating cards. The first and the simplest type is the basic card. Here you just type a question under the front section of the card and its answer under the back section of the card. So it's basically like a physical flashcard where you have question on the front and the answer on the back side of the card. So let's make one right now. For example, I'm typing the question: celiac disease is due to, and the answer to it, gluten hypersensitivity. Now, by clicking on this clip icon, you can also add an image to make it more visual. So here, I'm adding a screenshot I took from first aid, which is a histopathological slide showing villus atrophy and crypt hyperplasia, as these 2 points are very important and frequently tested. Now you can click on this eye icon here and hit flip to see how your card is going to look before saving it. Now I'm okay with the way my card looks, so I'll go back and then save this card. And just like before, using this clip button, you can attach diagrams, screenshots from PDFs, photos from your notes or your textbook, and even slides from a lecture. All of these instead of typing out the whole answer. This is what I usually do as typing takes a lot of time. So these cards are the easiest to make and the ones I use the most. The second type of cards is the cloze card. These are basically like the fill in the blank questions we had in school. These take a bit more effort to create, but they're really fun and break the monotony while solving a deck. So here's how it works. You type a sentence and select the part you want hidden, and Anki automatically turns it into a blank. Now let's try it with the same question. But here, I would have to type it as a sentence. So, celiac disease is due to gluten hypersensitivity. Now I'll select the answer here, that is gluten hypersensitivity, and tap on this icon which looks like 2 brackets and 3 dots, that is the close icon. Now if I click on the eye icon, I'll be able to see how my card is going to look like. Tap on flip to hide the answer. So celiac disease is due to, there's a blank there. So the answer is hidden. And if I tap on flip again, the answer is revealed. So this is how my card is going to look like. Suppose I also want to add a bit more info. For example, the HLA associations of celiac disease, as they are also very important. Now I'll type HLA associations. So they are DQ2 and DQ8. Now let's also hide these. Now selecting DQ2, tapping on the close icon, selecting DQ8, tapping on the close icon. And just like before, you can add photos in close cards as well by tapping the clip icon, but you will have to do it under extra section. And these photos, they show up along with the hidden blanks only after the card is revealed. So again, I'll go and add the same screenshot. Now by default, if you hide multiple parts of a sentence, Anki labels them as C1, C2, C3 and so on. So close 1, close 2, close 3. But only one of them will be turned into a blank in a single card. So if I tap on this eye icon and also tap on flip, then as you can see, only the first answer which I wanted to hide, that is close 1 or C1, as you can see in the screen, that is gluten hypersensitivity, only that is hidden. Whereas the second and the third answers, that is DQ2 and DQ8, or in other words, C2 and C3 are not converted into blanks. So basically, Anki creates 2 more cards from this one card, wherein only the second answer or C2 will be hidden in one of them, and only the third answer or C3 will be hidden in the other one. So whenever you hide multiple parts in a close card, Anki creates many cards from the same card, each hiding a different part. But personally, I prefer having all the blanks hidden in the same card at once. So to do that, just change all the numbers to C1. So now we'll change C2 here to C1 and C3 also to C1. So now if I press the eye icon and click on flip, as you can see, all the 3 answers have been converted into blanks, or all the 3 have been hidden at once in the same card. If you want to organize your cards subject wise like what I have done, it's very simple. Just click on add/export option on the bottom left corner. Now click on add empty deck. Now give it a name like the subject you're organizing. For example, ortho. Okay. Once your deck is ready, tap on it, press add and start creating cards. This keeps all your cards for a particular subject together and makes reviewing much easier. So one more tip, start with light cards. You can begin with simple ones like spotters, slides, small cycles, tables, or something as simple as a one-liner close card. Don't try to pack too much information into a single card initially. Once you become comfortable with Anki, comfortable with reviewing the cards, then you can start making bigger cards where you can include screenshots of an entire page or bigger concepts. Now that you know how to create cards, let's also learn how to actually use them. When you open your deck, a question pops up. Don't rush, pause for a moment and try to actively recall the answer, all the attached diagrams, how the card looked like in your mind before flipping the card. So once you've answered a card, Anki shows you 4 options at the bottom. Again, hard, good, and easy. So each one of these tells Anki how well you remembered the card, and based on that, it is going to decide when to show the card again. If you completely blanked out or got it wrong, hit again. So now Anki will bring back that card almost immediately so that you can review it again and reinforce it. If it felt tough, but you still managed to recall at least a bit of it, you can press hard. Now, Anki will show the card again sooner than usual, probably after some minutes or later that day. If you recalled it comfortably, you can go with good. That is the standard option. Now, Anki will show the card again later that day or after few days. And if the card was super easy, something you remembered instantly, you can tap easy. Now Anki will push the card further back for review after several days or even weeks. So basically, these buttons help Anki figure out how strong your memory is for that particular card. And it automatically adjusts your revision schedule such that the easier cards appear less often and the tougher ones come back sooner. And the beautiful thing about Anki is how the spacing changes as you keep practicing. So once you have answered the same card a couple of times, the interval between repetitions gets longer. So if you keep marking a card as easy, Anki might next show the card to you after weeks, months, or even years. So that's how your memory for that topic becomes rock solid. To check how many cards you have done in a day, you can tap on the small bar graph like icon on the top left corner of the Anki page. That will open the review statistics section. Here you can see your daily progress and which will help you to keep track and stick to whatever target you have set for each day. Now let's come to the big question. Should you use pre-made decks or make your own? I'll be very honest, I've tried both. Pre-made decks can look very tempting because you feel like you've just downloaded a topper's brain or something like that. But here's the problem. You didn't make those cards, and the process of making a card is half the learning. Also, pre-made decks can often get too complicated. They'll have links to some YouTube videos for the explanation, too many images. It's a lot going on in each card. See, it might look very fancy, but it kills the habit. Always remember, the simpler the card, the more consistent you're gonna be. So my advice, make your own cards. I have also shared some of my cards. You can find the link in the description, but they're very incomplete and purely for your reference to help you make your own. You might find some memory tricks, some explanations, or things written in my mother tongue. So, those are stuff that only I would understand. That is the thing about cards. They're most effective when they're personal. So, please don't use my cards as your main deck, as it's not going to help you much. Remember, your cards should always feel yours. So Anki actually syncs all the cards across devices through Anki Web. So if you log in with the same account, say for example on your iPad and also on your phone, the cards that you create or the edits that you make on one device will automatically appear on the other once you click on the sync button, the synchronize button on the bottom right corner of the app. And the nice thing is, Anki also keeps a backup of everything online. It's like having a free cloud storage. So if you lose your phone or switch to a new device, all your decks and progress are completely safe. You just have to log in again and everything comes back. So a quick note on pricing. Anki is free on Android, but it costs around rupees 2500 on iOS. So if you are an iPhone user, my suggestion would be to try Anki on Android. If you like it, if it clicks, then you can transfer all your cards that you made on that Android phone to your iPhone once you buy the app on iOS. And if using Anki becomes a habit, trust me guys, it's really worth the money. Now here's the most important part, building the habit. Anki is not about doing 100 cards one day and not doing anything for the next 3 days. It's about showing up every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. So set a fixed number of cards as your daily goal. It can be as little as 10 cards per day, but you got to be consistent with that. Doing 0 cards today and doubling up tomorrow doesn't work the same way as doing it every day. Because this isn't last minute studying for tomorrow's exam. It's about building long term knowledge that stays with you for years. So, by following this, You're basically studying today for an exam you might be giving years later, or for a patient you will treat someday, years down the lane. It is like the Japanese concept of kaizen, the idea of getting a little better every single day. So, bit by bit, your memory sharpens, your recall improves, and one day you'll realize you can connect concepts effortlessly. That is the real power of consistency. It builds up quietly, and one day you will be glad you started. So, finally, should you actually use Anki? See, use Anki for 1 month. If it works for you, you will feel the difference. You literally feel like a memory champ. But if it doesn't, that's fine too. Anki is just a tool. So if your current method of revision works for you, stick to it. No need to have any FOMO. But if you give it an honest shot, there's a very high chance that you will never look back. So that's it for this video, guys. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends, and drop your doubts in the comments. I'll reply to all of them. Thank you.